Let's re-intro because they'll make my editing life a lot easier.
Okay.
Okay.
Skipper? Okay.
Okay, 1, 2, 3.
This week in beautiestalkingbusiness.com, your hosts have come through AnDrea Pettingill at Shine with Drea and JennyAHansen at JennyAHansen have an amazing guest on the show today, which is Holly, the one and only fingernail fixer. So let's get started and dive in.
Hello, you are watching BeautiesTalkingBusiness.com with your co-host JennyAHansen and AnDrea Pettingill. You can find out more about us on the website at BeautiesTalkingBusiness.com, but I'm going to throw it over to AnDrea, and she is going to introduce herself and our very special guest today.
Hello, everyone. My name is AnDrea Pettingill, and we are so excited today because we have Holly Skippers on the show, the fingernail fixer, and she is amazing. I've been following her my whole nail career, and I know Jenny has too. Holly has actually been doing nails since 1999, and so that's like so forever. She all over the place, educating and just helping the industry, helping everybody out, and moving forward other people's careers. And it's just like so cool to watch what she does and everything that she's involved with. Holly, please say hello and tell us a little bit more about yourself.
Hello, everyone. I am a nail professional based in Iowa in the U.S., and I started off really struggling to learn how to do nails, and it quickly, once I figured out how to do decent nails, became my passion to help other people so that they didn't have to struggle with learning the way that I did.
Yes.
And teaching nails has just become absolutely what I love doing in the industry.
Yes. And Holly, where can everyone find you? Because I know you're in a few different places.
Yes. The main place you can find me is YouTube, also Facebook and Instagram. And I tend to post occasionally on Twitter. I have a little bit on Pinterest. Pretty much if you just Google fingernail fixer, all one word, you'll find me.
Yes.
I also have a blog with Nails Magazine.
Yes, which is so good. That was amazing. I know. I remember too following Holly. I think you had like 1,300 likes or something on your Facebook page when I found you. And now you're in what, 30,000 or something insane.
No, I think I'm still in the 20s, but it's getting there.
Like just the 20,000s. It's okay.
Right.
Well, we have so many good, juicy questions for you today, and we really appreciate so much you taking the time out of your busy life and schedule to be here with us today, because AnDrea and I are exactly the same in the sense that we are nail professionals, nail technicians, and between the two of us, we have about 22 combined years experience, 10 and 12. And we have just really felt a need to give back to the nail industry and make it a lot easier for new nail technicians to find some education, to find some information from real nail technicians where they could listen and hear and really get some feedback on not just technique, but also what it's like in the business world and online and the whole thing.
Yeah, so we have some fun questions for you about like pricing, about being an educator, about, you know,
ask these all the time.
Love about it. I want to start with Holly. How did you start as a nail professional?
Oh, good question. I actually came into the industry by total fluke. I was at Christmas, and my cousin who does hair was complaining that none of her friends were willing to go to school to learn how to do nails for her in the salon. And I was like, how hard is it to paint nails all day? I could totally do that.
So easy.
Right? And school was a very rude awakening for me.
Awesome. How long before, like in the industry, how long before you felt confident enough to start educating?
I had actually been doing nails for 5 years before I became an ambassador with C&D. And I had been doing private education as a mentor for 2 years before I became an ambassador.
Oh, that's awesome.
I love C&D. I'm C&D Grandmaster, like
I started
hardcore.
on it.
Nice.
Awesome.
Fist bump.
Love it. Yes.
So I love your philosophy. It's part of your logo and you have the turtle involved. And I want to ask you to explain a little bit for those that don't know about that.
All right. Slow and steady for winning results came about when I finally learned how to do good nails, but it still took me a while. Like my full sets were still running an hour and a half to 2 hours. And so I was doing a rebalance on one of my friends, and someone called in and I answered the phone and we were talking about a nail appointment. And I mentioned, just make sure you allow yourself a good 2 hours for your appointment because I'm still pretty slow. And they hung up on me. And she's like, you cannot tell people that you're slow. And I'm like, but if I don't tell them that I'm slow, they get here expecting to get their nails done in half an hour and they're very angry when you are not done.
Right.
And so she introduced me to the concept of perspective. And that's when it became, I would answer the phone and tell them, make sure you allow 2 hours for your appointment because I'm extremely meticulous. And I want to make sure you leave with the nails that are perfect for you versus in a hurry.
That's amazing. Yeah.
People are like, what? No one ever takes that long. That's amazing. I didn't know that was possible. So I said the same thing. I still said it's going to take 2 hours. I'm really slow. Yeah. I just changed the perspective.
Right. And in your heart, you meant the same thing. Like that's what you meant when you said the other, I'm slow, but like, that's not like how they took it. I love that.
Yeah, I love that too. And both, like, I am so huge about integrity of the business, of client customer care, of the quality of work. And so that's something I'll express to my clientele as well is, the quality is going to be here. And I remember reading in nail school that a rebalance or a full set should take an hour and a half to an hour and 45 minutes. And so I will tell clients that it's like in the book, an hour and a half is kind of what to be expected. But then I, add on a whole bunch of stuff and I'm still at like 2 hours. We get chatting, talking, and what? Drea is fast though. She can do good.
We could always improve to the next level, right?
That's
exactly.
That's true.
There's always room for improvement, no matter where you're at.
I have a question, and I'm curious. What made you decide to start putting your videos up on Facebook and YouTube? And how long? When were you like? Because I feel like you were really one of the first nail technicians to start putting your work on YouTube. And now there's so many that aren't even nail techs.
Right? Yeah, I do kind of feel like if I wasn't the first, I was at least in that category, if you will. Basically what inspired me to that is I was getting a lot of questions through Facebook. And I decided that if someone asked me a question about something, 10 people asked the same question. It was something that people didn't understand.
Right.
And I've learned how to teach myself how to do things. I have to figure out how they're broken down. And so I may have to take several classes before I grasp something. Right. And that gave me the ability to really break things down in a video. So they seem a little chat heavy versus the videos today that are like on speed zoom and they play music instead of talking to you. But I felt like they were really content rich. And that's what I wanted for people, is to not worry about how professional the video was, how perfect the video was, but what it could do for them in the salon.
Absolutely. And I can attest to that because I learned so much from your videos that really just clicked and helped me, to do a lot better, especially, with like your troubleshooting videos and things like that. And that just really helps so much. And so then when I got into a place of training, it was this, here's Holly's words,
Exactly.
Make sure you're doing this and doing this. And I feel like you also really break down your education and your information in a way that people can understand it in a language that makes sense, that because as nail techs, we see things so differently, and we understand information so differently. And so to have another nail technician explaining something in a way that made sense to the way our creative minds worked. I mean, I don't know. It just you've been just so helpful throughout the industry.
Well, nail techs fall into you have nail techs that are very creative, and so they're not business minded at all. And then you have nail techs that are a little bit creative, a little bit business minded, and then nail techs that are business minded, but logically they can follow the step by steps and accomplish that. So you have to be able to break things down in a way that all three categories of learner can pick up what you're showing to them. And for me, it's important that they can pass it on, because I can't be everywhere all the time. So I love that so many people have taken the time to make tutorial videos or have written me asking for tips on videos. And, you know, I have what I would consider my little video babies all over the world, and I'm so proud of all of them and the fact that they do pay it forward to the industry.
That is so awesome. I love that. And another big part of you paying it forward to the industry is being involved with Nails Magazine. So tell us a little bit more about that, like what you do with them.
Okay. Nails Magazine has always been my favorite trade magazine. To attempt to put it into words, in school we got trade magazines and we would look through them, and there was just something about the way Nails Magazine was laid out and presented, the way they write to you. It just always spoke to me as a comfortable friend. You know,
Uh-oh. You're frozen for a second.
Hope we get it back here in a sec.
Yeah. Sorry, I got a phone call. Am I still here?
Yeah, you're still back. We last heard comfortable friend.
So Nails Magazine just always felt like a comfortable friend. And I had the opportunity at a show in Council Bluffs, Iowa, to meet with Cindy Drummer, who was the editor back then. And I offered to give her a manicure. So she met up with me and I gave her a CNE spa manicure and we chatted. And I just fell in love with the fact that she was equally as warm and genuine as the magazine. And every person from Nails Magazine that I've met since then has always felt that way. Just like a warm, generous person that they may not do nails, but they're excited to share nails with you. Right. So when Hannah was the editor, she asked me to come on as one of their regular bloggers and blog bi-weekly. And I absolutely jumped at the opportunity to be part of the team. And now I work with Sigourney, who is the one that posts my blogs, and she has actually gone to school and become a nail professional.
Wow, that's cool.
Yeah, they are just such supportive, real, awesome people.
That's amazing. I love it. And I love Nails Magazine. It's been around a while. And really, it's, you know, one of the only magazines, maybe one other, but like one of the only magazines that you really need because it's all in there. I feel like they put all the...
It's the one that makes you feel like everyone fits in. Everyone is welcome. Everyone does a good job no matter what skill level. Like, it feels like they celebrate every skill level. And they celebrate every nail professional. And I just love that warm, welcoming feeling.
That's awesome. Especially when you see, I love when you see nail techs get featured in there that you can tell they're not like a competition winning, you know what I mean? And it's like, they're just like super excited to get featured in the magazine. And it's just so cool. It's like, you go girl, you do your craft at whatever level you're at and keep going forward.
Exactly. It's fun to see different levels of art show up in there. On their 365 days of nail art blog. You can see all different levels of enhancement skills, but yet it's displaying the artwork. So from the beginner whose nails may not be that amazing, they're still celebrating what they can achieve. And I just love that.
Right. Which I think that's a perfect segue into a question that we were wanting to ask Drea. Do you want to ask her about hitting the learning curve that nail technicians have to go through?
So I don't know exactly the question that you're talking
so,
about, but
yeah, just okay. So we were talking earlier before we started this about how last week I interviewed Drea, and the week before Drea interviewed me, and we've been doing the show for a while now, and so it was kind of interesting to interview each other.
Fun.
And one thing that we both asked each other was, what helped you to keep doing nails and not give up on it after that year mark or that 2-year mark, when you're just,
or whenever it gets hard, because
Yeah.
it comes up like a cycle of like, you know, you were in your creative mode and then a cycle goes through of like real life hits, and it's like, how do you, you know, how do you stay?
You realize you're still got a lot of learning to do. And
well, a big key to that. Okay. A big key to that is education. Anytime you feel like you've hit a wall, or you feel like I'm kind of getting bored with this, or I know how to do this, but man, I wish I knew how to do something else. It's time for education. Anytime you're not walking on cloud 9 because you love what you do, it's time for education. It reignites your passion for the industry. It reignites your passion for what you do. And everyone learns at different levels and different ways. So if you took a class this year and it didn't light your fire, take another class. It doesn't hurt anything to get as much education as possible. And I love the networking aspect that has become really big now that we can all connect with each other online. Networking is huge. And so if there are days that I'm just like, oh, my nail artists do not want to wake up, I'm just not feeling it, I will pop on Instagram and see what everyone else is doing, and that can be inspiring. Or hop on Facebook and see someone had a great success story. They learned how to do something, or they graduated nail school, or they finished a class that they've been wanting to take, and it's like, yes, that's what it's all about. So it's connecting to people outside of yourself, and it's education.
Oh, that's so interesting that you will like actively seek out inspiration on days that you're feeling not as inspired. I love that.
Absolutely.
That's a huge tip. I'm actually taking notes on some of like Holly's words of wisdom here.
So what do you love most about being an educator, Holly, if you had to like sum that into one answer?
What I love most about being an educator is having, I don't know if power is the right word. Opportunity may be what I'm looking for. Having the opportunity to give people the knowledge and the ability to support themselves, to help themselves, to better themselves, and to be as successful as they choose to be.
That's awesome. Beautiful.
I mean, that is the purpose of education, is to give people something that they can build on and be successful on their own.
That's beautiful. I believe that so much as well. My aunt, my grandma did nails with C&D for like 30 years. She still does nails, and she's 76.
Nice. That's awesome.
And then my aunt did nails, and she actually pushed me to go to nail school because she had a school for a while. And I did it. And I remember my aunt, she raised 3 kids all on her own, doing nails out of her house. And she'd work 7 to 10 some days because she didn't have any child support, and she was all on her own. But she did it, and she was able to have that freedom to support her family and her children doing nails. And that's something that I just have always, I think that's where the first part of respecting the industry was born, within me, is through my family. But this is interesting too, because we get asked a lot of questions about pricing. Where do I price myself? When do I raise my prices? Do I raise my prices with the more education and the more qualified I get? I feel like a lot of nail techs struggle with that pricing game because I feel like they want to compete with some of the cheaper nail salons. And maybe they're not valuing their work as much. What is your perspective and your advice for the nail technician when it comes to setting pricing and being confident in it?
The first thing that every professional has to understand that we all struggle with is your time has value. So you actually have to charge enough to not only cover your costs and cover your overhead, but to cover your time. And if you look at the fact that we don't usually have benefits, you know, if you have insurance of some sort, like Associated Nail Professionals or what have you, that's coming out of your own pocket. It's not something generally that your employer is going to provide like a traditional job.
Right.
And so you have to take all of these things into consideration. If you look at what you're choosing to charge and then take a look at your taxes at the end of the year, what it says you make after it deducts all of your expenses, then you need to consider, would I make that much if I worked at McDonald's? Because that would be less hassle.
Mm-hmm.
And if you wouldn't make that much, or if you would make more than that, maybe you should kind of evaluate pricing. What was suggested to me when I got out of school that I found very helpful was to price everyone in town and take an average of the price and start at the average. And so then I wasn't priced as the highest person in town, which was fair because I didn't have the skills in my mind. And I wasn't priced as low as the lowest person in town because I had an education and I was striving to better myself. So I didn't deserve to make the lowest price either. And that was a pretty good starting point, is doing that average. And the time to raise your prices is around the corner. It's coming up. So it's perfect timing for that question.
Yes.
You should raise your prices in October. Traditionally, we always think New Year, new prices. We raise our prices in January, right?
Yeah.
That's just the way we think. And so if you think about it, in October, how many of your clients are going to stop getting their nails done for the holidays?
All of them. They're
Right?
going to start getting them done.
And
It's
so
like,
they're not going to dump you in November when they've got this big thing coming up at work or this big thing coming up with relatives. So October is a great time to raise your prices. Whereas if you hike them up in January, we might still be in debt from Christmas. We might have drank the rest of our money for New Year's. And so when you're like, your nails are going to be $5 more, they're like, see ya, I'm going to have to quit for a few weeks and then I'll be back.
Right.
You know, so it makes sense to get them to adjust their budget before the holidays instead of after.
That is
a good time to raise your prices is when you are booked a couple weeks out, when you really don't have room to take new clients. It's time to raise your prices.
Drea.
I hear you. I always have a waiting list, and I'm like,
right?
Maybe that's telling me something.
So you'll be putting out a notice September 1st that your prices are going up in October, right?
Yes.
This is the perfect timing because now I can think about the prices and I could like get it all laid out and give everybody notice. It's perfect.
Yes. Well, a cost of living increase, according to the IRS in the U.S., is 3.7% a year.
Wow.
So if you, like, I will tend to raise my prices every other year instead of every year. So then you just double that 3.7%. So how long has it been since you gave yourself a raise?
For me, I tweaked a couple things. Like in January, I tweaked a couple things, but yeah, it's been a while since I've crossed the board.
So multiply years by 3.7.
Yeah. What would that look like?
So what?
Multiply those years by 3.7. So if you haven't raised your prices in 5 years, take 3.7% times 5, and then take that percent cost and raise your prices.
That's like mind blowing. It's like when you put it like that, you're just like, you can see so much of how much you're actually paying your clients to do their nails.
Yes. Well, I did a blog a while back where I actually broke down the pricing and how much it actually costs you not to raise your prices every year over I think a 5 or 10 year period.
Really?
Yeah, I'll hunt it up and send it to you.
Yes, and we can link that. Yeah, we will link that below because that that would be fascinating.
Yeah, it's actually frustrating.
Frustrating.
Like, wow, this is how much money I'm losing every year.
Wow. And you know how it goes. Like, you will remain doing the same thing until the pain of change is greater. What is it? The pain of change is greater than the pain of staying the same, or whatever that saying is.
Yes, I know what you're talking about.
It has to be painful for you to like actually ask your client for more money, and like to not, so yeah.
One, you have to consider if they can't afford it, they'll let you know and someone will take their place.
Yeah.
Same thing as if we as a nail professional, I as a nail professional am to go to the store and I want to buy a new outfit for Saturday. I'm going to buy the outfit that's in my budget.
Mm-hmm.
And there are stores with outfits in every price range. The outfit that Jan Arnold purchases isn't going to be the same price as the outfit that I purchase.
Hell no.
Right? But that doesn't stop those designers from having those outfits at that level, because there are people that will pay that.
That's true.
So you have to not be afraid to make a good living based on what you think your client's income or needs are. They can decide that.
I have something. I can just hear some of our audience saying, "Well, but Dre and I are in Utah, so we are in a smaller state, small town area, and so a lot of the nail professionals do work from home, and I can just hear, if you work from home, you have to charge less." And if you have our own,
there's these rules we put on ourselves, right?
Right. Yes. But the quality of work is there. See, I actually turned a shed that we have in my backyard into a studio. And so I make it as spa quality as I can, and the work is quality. But I know that, some people, have a room in their house or somewhere, a home business. And I think they get stuck on that as well. And do you feel like the prices need to be lowered if you're a home business, or is it all about the quality?
No. It's about the quality of work, and it's about the fact that your time has value. They're not paying for the venue, they're paying for your time.
Right.
Your time has value. Your education, you could be educated, and quite frankly, just because it's in your house doesn't make it the overhead much cheaper.
No,
because now you're letting a room or two rooms and have wear and tear from external people, and you're also opening yourself up to knock on the front door Sunday morning at 8:00. Can you fit me in? I broke a nail, because they think that you're all access now that you're doing nails at home.
Yeah.
So you have to be compensated for that as well.
For that too. Yes. And oh, my first utility bill.
Like, this is different. Yeah. Take that all into account. And I think as creatives, we don't want to worry about the numbers. Sometimes we're just like glaze over that. And I'm like that myself. I don't want to do the math on the percent, but it's part of being a business owner, a business person.
Yes.
Super important.
Yes. And Holly, I don't know if you know this, but this is what our whole show is based around, is the creative beauty professional entrepreneur, and how to run a business as a creative and modern entrepreneur in the beauty industry. And because there's a way, I think, to run a responsible business and still be creative. But I'm just wondering, is that an excuse? Is that a cop-out? Do you learn it? Do you hire a bookkeeper? What do you recommend if someone's just like, I know this isn't a strength, numbers aren't a strength of mine. What's some advice you would give there?
It depends on your budget. If you have budget to hire a numbers person, absolutely go for it. Most of us kind of want to keep our tiny margin of profit. And especially if you're not charging what you're worth, you probably don't have extra money for a numbers person. So even though you're creative, you have to tell yourself, okay, in order to afford my creative toys, I need to put my business brain on for just a few minutes, rock these numbers out, and then I can go back and play, because I know that next year I'll have money to play.
Yes, it's the same thing. Like, I hate cleaning my house. Does that mean I don't do it? Sometimes.
Right.
Oh, you said the perfect thing, Holly, I think you said the perfect thing, because I'm totally that person who doesn't want to think about it. And you put it this way: I need to put my numbers hat on for a few minutes. So you're allowing yourself permission. This is how long it's going to take me. And because what we do in our brains, we think it's going to take me so long. I'm going to be behind on everything else in my life and behind on my client. Like I can't sit down for this amount of time. It's like, okay, let me give myself 15, 20 minutes, and I'll stop when I'm done in 15, 20 minutes, and then I'll start another day working on it again. Or just like do it incrementally so that you give yourself that, like, I'm okay to like do other things.
Yeah, that's such a good
tip. If you just make it part of the schedule, if you hop into the salon, especially in a home salon, you have to be really disciplined with management. So if you hop into the salon a good half an hour, 45 minutes early, and you devote 15 to 20 minutes every day to your numbers game, then it's just part of your routine. And then you can wash all that boring number stuff out of your mind with creativity for the rest of the day.
Yeah, that's great advice. I love that. I also wanted to chat with you now. Do you own your own salon where you are renting out space? No. Okay. Because, Dre and I go back and forth on this.
We almost like, I don't know, I think the last little bit I just like wanted to, I'm in a studio, my own little studio room within someone else's salon, right? And I love the like, I got to do my own thing creatively, and I've entertained the idea of salon here and there, but what do you, Holly, how much are you working in the salon? And we want to know about like your, like.
Yeah, are you still doing nails? Will you ever quit? And where are you doing nails? Yeah.
I'm doing nails in a small town in Iowa.
Yes.
And I work in a salon that I booth rent.
Mm-hmm.
So I have my little corner of the salon. I'm there 2 days every other week. And that is my little salon home. Yeah, education is my full-time occupation.
Right.
Yeah, I love it.
Love it.
Yeah. I don't know that I would be able to give up working in the salon again because I love it so much. I retired for a while when I had my last child. And as soon as he started school, my clients were messaging me on Facebook, excuse me, I see that Corbin's in school. It's time to be back in the salon. And so I enjoy them so much, and I enjoy the creative process so much. I also think it makes it easier for me to help relate to nail professionals in a class because I'm dealing with the same things in the salon that they are. So it's easier for me to troubleshoot or to give business advice because I'm having to do it as well.
Right. I've played with that too. It's like, do I open up a space because there's nothing in my area that is quality nails? But then I'm like, maybe when, I'm 34 right now. So I think maybe when I hit my 40s, I'll revisit that when my youngest is a little bit older. My youngest is 3. So I'm like, maybe when I get, when she's in school full time, maybe I'll revisit that. But it's kind of, I love my freedom too. Creatives, we love our freedom.
Yes.
Yeah.
And owning your own business doesn't equal freedom. It equals prerogative, but not freedom.
I remember I had this hairdresser and I was like getting my hair done and I said, yeah, I'm booked out about 3 weeks at a time right now and it's just perfect and I love my schedule. And she's like, yeah, but how many days a week are you working? And I said, and I'm like, I work 2 days a week because I've earned it. And she was like, oh, okay. And so, I could be booked out 6 weeks in advance, but if I'm working, but still those 2 days a week, I'm going to keep it there. And it's not like to be ashamed of. If I wanted to be booked solid 7 days a week, I could, but I don't want to, and I've earned it.
Exactly.
So love
it. Like just owning that and having that. Yeah. Seeing the value in yourself and in your time.
Yes.
That's the trick.
That's the trick. I love it. And speaking of time, how are you on time, Holly?
All right.
You're okay? For a little bit? Can you jam a little more?
You bet.
I wanted to ask you because I know when I started educating in the industry, my mind was kind of blown open when I started going to like meeting all the different nail educators and going to shows and like kind of expanded my view of the industry.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have any experiences you could share like that, of like how you thought the industry was and how it changed when you got to know more and more people, and you still like, you network with so many people, like you have involved with so many different companies. Like, give us a little.
I know you met Jan Arnold.
Right? I think a lot of the trick to that is realizing that they're also people.
Mm-hmm. That's huge.
It literally is a little painful to my heart when I will go to an event and someone will post a picture of me across the room and they're like, "This is how close I got to Holly," and I'm like, "Why didn't you come hug me?"
Yeah.
Like, seriously.
I'm a people too.
So yeah, just remember that no matter how big they are in the industry and in your mind, they're still everyday people that do nails the same as you do. Their nail skills may be different, their products may be different, but they love the industry and have the same passion for the industry that you do. And we love meeting new people. Like, I have fangirl moments all the time.
That's so fun.
Every time I consider Doug Schoen one of my friends, and yet every time I hug him, I'm like, I just hug Doug Schoen.
He might come on the show.
That's sweet. That's so awesome.
Like, here's my cell. Reach out to me. And I'm like,
and his book is going to be coming out soon as well. His new book. We've got it at the publisher right now, so I'm super stoked about it. But yeah, it just, like when I met Vicky Peters, she helped me online as a student. And so when I finally was able to go on her cruise and literally just have hangout, chill out time with her, I was just like, and same thing with Jan Arnold and all of those amazing industry people that, it doesn't matter what product they use, what brand they're with. It's that our passion is equal. Our love for the industry is equal. And it's such a joy and a pleasure to meet these people. And the trick is just to remember that they're people. Walk up and say hi, because you're not going to network and make those connections from across the room.
Right? Like, Holly would not be on this interview today if I wouldn't have kept kind of random. I mean, I don't even know if you remember me, but I would randomly send you, little Facebook messages here and there throughout the years. Oh, I love your work. Thank you. And you were so sweet because you would always respond. And, you've always been so welcoming and open and willing to help, even though you were just like, here's this girl I've never met in real life. But then we get this show up, 10 years later, and I'm like, "Holly, do you remember me?" Probably not, but you're like, "I'm there," So
anything to help the industry, and the fact that you're paying it forward to help the industry makes it even better.
That's amazing. Do we have a second to talk about building up an online presence and, what to do there? Because in this day and age, this is, you have to be online to grow your business. And I feel like you have to be online to, Gary Vaynerchuk is always saying that online's the segue, the gateway to the one-on-one, the gateway to to having those personal relationships. But do you have any
Absolutely
as far as building up an online presence?
Basically, what it's going to take to build up an online presence is interaction. If you are too busy to ever reply back to anyone, why should they make time to be with you? And that has been something that I've always kind of been aware of. It may take me sometimes a couple days, but I always try to reply to messages, always. And I'm absolutely devastated if I miss one. I feel like a complete jerk. So the part of the trick is to realize that it's a sacrifice of your personal time and be interactive. That is social media. The more successful you are will be based on your interaction. If you just post once a month and if people comment, you never comment back, there's no reason to follow you. It's not interesting. It's not benefiting them. And in this day and age, you almost have to think about how does it benefit them, as well as being conscious of current trends. Like, how many people still are not quite sure what a hashtag is? A hashtag is the little pound sign where you put a word or series of words with no spaces after it, and it becomes a custom search. And you can use that on Instagram, on Twitter, on Facebook. I've even Googled hashtags to see if they exist or to hunt things up. And so you need a custom personal hashtag. Like if you hashtag fingernail fixer, you're going to find me in a lot of places. If you hashtag nail eyes, hopefully you'll find a lot of inspiration. If you hashtag FNF freaks, which is fingernail fixer freaks, yay to my peeps.
Yes.
Then hopefully you'll find fellow nail professionals, inspiration, and just fun nail ideas and education. So kind of creating some custom hashtags that are specific to you will help tie your social media together as well as build your presence.
That's good.
So I love it. One thing I wanted to point out is like you're sacrificing your time to connect with people, but at the beginning for you, I'm sure there was a lot of, why am I even doing this? But the patience, like it really paid off, and for you to like really do some amazing things you've gotten to do, right?
Well, and I never started out with that intention. Like my intention initially was, okay, there have to be other people like me that live out in the backwoods behind the boonies. It takes hours to get to a class, and we don't always have the opportunity to get there or don't always have the financial resources to get there, but we still need to know how to do things correctly. We still want new and current information.
Yeah.
And so it initially started off kind of as my way of paying it forward because so many people had helped me online, like Debbie Dorlam with Nail Tech, Beauty Tech, and then with Vicky helping me in the little AOL chats off of Beauty Tech, with Sam and Samantha Sweet and Gigi helping me on the Salon Geek. Just so many people helped me without any return on them. So that was my idea of what it should be, is a complete investment into paying it forward that you're not looking for a return on. And it did happen to eventually have a return. I've definitely been to countries I never dreamed I would see. And, the year that I went to the UK and traveled all over the place and had like rock concert style t-shirts with the cities listed on it.
I love it.
Just, you could have pinched me at any given day. I was so in dreamland. So it definitely has come back, even though that's not really what my intention was.
Right. I remember your post when you were invited to go to New York Fashion Week. And you're like, I'm going to New York Fashion Week. Like,
yeah, luckily I didn't have to go, but I got to do nails and ship them.
You got to do nails and ship them for New York.
Yes, I was all about doing the nails. That was so much fun.
Were there.
Yes. I'm like, yay, my nails are going to New York and I don't have to.
I love it. I think, do you feel like that there are other ways for nail technicians to maybe monetize or earn some money in this business besides just sitting in the chair and working one-on-one with clients? Like, what is your viewpoint as far as expanding ways to monetize your business? Or is it just keep working hard with what you're doing?
It's going to depend on what your time is, what your availability is. Definitely education is a step towards that, and networking events are a step towards that. You also can have some more in the chair variety. Maybe you offer toe and knuckle waxing in addition to manicures and pedicures, if that's allowed in your state.
It can be the hairs off.
Right. It can be add-on services. It can be incorporating retail. You can also do just like they have nail sets for New York Fashion Week that they put on the models. You can do special event sets that people stop by. They bring in their outfit. You take some pictures. You do a design consultation, and then they come back in a week or two and pick up their set. So
I've always wanted to learn how to do that. Like, what products do you use to put, what tips do you buy and all that stuff. And I think that's really fun.
Yeah. I'm like, there's your next video.
Yeah. Let us know when you make it. Because one of the fun things about being a creative is giving yourself the space to create. And sometimes the time pressure of the salon is kind of like squashing you have to be creative within this amount of time. And, and I've definitely done it before where I've made some 3D stuff for a client that I knew was going to a film festival. So I made a little like camera reel thing. It was so cool.
Yes.
I've never tried 3D acrylic or gel. I need to try it.
And then there's also the competition opportunities. You don't have to jump right into something huge like Nail Olympia. You can start off in some of the smaller competitions, like in the Smokies, or things like that. So, competition is one way to go about it, and that definitely forces you to improve your skills.
Yeah, I bet. And aren't some of those really good money too if you win?
Oh yeah. And then look at Next Top Nail Artist with Nails Magazine. That's pretty much online. You don't have to go anyplace special. So budget is not a good excuse to not be trying that.
She's like, just do it. Oh,
Holly, I want to know before we leave, I want to know what you're excited about with your business right now, and what is like in the works for you, and just anything new and fresh and exciting that's going on in your world.
Yeah, anything.
Oh my goodness.
Coming up next.
My world has imploded this year with work. I am doing some editing for Doug Schoon.
Very cool.
So I'm working with him on his book that's coming out. I have become a member of Team C&D. So I'm now helping other educators, which has always been a dream of mine. And I have kind of picked up things in the salon 2 days a week. I've increased my private classes this year to kind of stay local a little bit during the summer with my son. And I have also expanded into social media consultation. And it's kind of helping other small businesses develop a social media presence and teach them how to run it so that they don't need me ongoing. And so I've kind of stepped out of the industry, and I'm doing that for basically any small business versus just limiting myself to salons.
That's great. So, are you taking consultation clients right now, or is that something that's coming up?
No, I already have consultation clients now.
So where can people find you if they want to do a consultation with you?
Right now I'm still doing everything underneath Fingernail Fixer. So they can hit me up on Facebook, they can shoot me a text, hit me up on the website, whatever's the most convenient. I'm pretty easy to track down.
I love it. So do you do social media consultations specific for nail technicians or beauty professionals, or any small business?
Any small business.
That's fantastic. So
naturally my favorite is a salon professional because I know what they're doing.
Right.
Like one of my clients right now does a show about cars, and I'm like, okay, I don't know anything about cars, but I will definitely teach you how to blast out your information.
There you go. I love it so much. I know we're definitely working on our consistency more with the show, letting as that grows. And that's, I know, a big one. I'm like, I need to work on emailing people more. I'm scared I'm going to bug them. I'm like,
yes. Well, I think what the most obnoxious thing is right now is hashtags. Like 50 is too many.
Right.
Like putting way too many on there. Oh yeah.
Right. Like you should try to limit yourself to 3 personal hashtags and 3 content hashtags.
I do like 30 on Instagram. She's like, that's annoying. Stop. Okay.
Yes.
I hear you.
I have this like thing that I hate it when people will hashtag stiletto nails and they don't have a picture of stiletto nails. Do you know what I mean? Like I want it to be a search tool. Like stop putting it because it's popular.
Right.
But you can't get everybody to do the same thing.
Well, and the thing with that is what you do, if you incorrectly hashtag things, you lose the validity of your following.
So true. Yeah.
They'll be like, I'm going to stop looking at that stuff because it's never what she says it's going to be.
Yeah.
And if you look at it as potential clientele as well, your clients are going to think, wow, if they're not even going to market that correctly, are they really going to tell me the truth in the salon?
Right. It goes back to that integrity of if you to have integrity in your social media as well. No gimmick, sleazy stuff.
Yes.
People see through it. We don't like that anymore. It's a different day. It's a different age.
Genuine hashtags.
Genuine hashtags. Hashtag.
New hashtag.
Hashtags.
Nice.
Genuine hashtag. Oh my goodness.
Well, Holly, thank you so much for being on the show. You are amazing. We love your work. You are such an incredible mentor in the industry, and I personally am so thankful for you, and I know many others are so thankful for you and the work that you do. And we would love to have you back on the show in the future anytime you have something new coming up or anything new you want to promote, or maybe a Q&A sometime or something. I don't know, but we just would love to stay in touch, and just are so thankful that you did this today. So thank you for taking the time out.
Yeah.
I super appreciate your having me. It's nail professionals that inspire me in return. So anything that I can do for a nail professional, I'm happy to do. Yeah. And a couple plugs for you since you mentioned it.
Yeah, yes.
Doug Schoon's book is going to be coming up really soon, so keep an eye out for that. It's going to be volume 1 of Face to Face, and it's amazing questions. I edited it, and I read the entire thing several times, and I learned something new every time I read it. It's just so content rich and amazing.
Okay.
And then the Nail Those Profits cruise is coming up in January. There's some spots.
Now, I haven't heard of this cruise. How have I heard of this?
It's Nail Those Profits. It was Vicky Peters' cruise.
Okay.
Yeah, it's Nail Those Profits. It used to be Vicky Peters' cruise, and Nail Talk Radio has taken it over to honor her legacy.
Sorry, keep going.
And there are all kinds of amazing nail professionals that will be educating on the cruise. And the classes don't overlap, so you'll be able to take all of the classes. Plus, you have downtime. We visit the islands, and we have a good time and go on excursions together. And that is one really awesome way to network and kind of everyday chill out with these nail professionals like Elaine Watson, Braden and Othanoff from Nail Talk Radio.
I've met Elaine once. I love her.
She's
I
so
met her.
sweet.
She came to Utah once.
And Profiles Girls, it's a huge good time. Gina.
We got
you definitely got to be there.
When is that?
I'm gonna look into that
again.
It's in January, and you've got until October to sign up.
Okay, so I will link everything in the description box below. I'm working on figuring out like annotations and cards and stuff, so bear with me. Hopefully I can be like, click here, and then you can actually click there. So
that's awesome.
I will definitely put that there, and all of Holly's information where you can find her. And again, we're so thankful to have her here. And I just want to thank you again. And you can find her at Fingernail Fixer on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and what am I forgetting?
YouTube.
All over. Yes, all over. So
thank you so much for your time, Holly. You're amazing.
My pleasure. You guys take care.
Bye. And this is beautiestalkingbusiness.com with your hosts, JennyAHansen and AnDrea Pettingill, and our special guest, Holly, today, the Fingernail Fixer. Thank you so much for watching. We hope you got some amazing value from the show today. Actually, put it in the comments below here or over on our Facebook group at Beauties Talking Business, and let us know your favorite part of the show today. AnDrea, would you like to sign us off?
Thanks, you guys, for tuning in, and we will see you next week. And we hope that you go shine today. Bye.
Bye.
We hope you had just as much fun as we did during this interview with Holly, the Fingernail Fixer. You can find her at thefingernailfixer.com, as well as all over online under Fingernail Fixer, and her YouTube tutorials are amazing. So we hope you enjoyed this with your hosts, AnDrea at Shine with Drea and Jenny at JennyAHansen. And if you have not yet joined our community over on Facebook, please do so. Find us at Beauties Talking Business, where we have a weekly show every Wednesday for beauty professionals. Thank you so much for watching. Until next time, lots of love.